Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go!
Oh, eat your heart out, John Ryan, right down the middle. This isn't kicking it with Ballsy. No, it's kicking it with John Ryan, the only Saskatchewan kid to win a Super Bowl and a CFL veteran who started his football career in Regina in the RMF and has helped build it to what it is today, giving back to the community and giving back to Regina Minor football. This segment, Kicking It with John Ryan, brought to you by another great guy and his family, Ben Garrow, Advantage Collision in Saskatoon and PA. They're the family shop that cares. They're the best in-class auto body repair shop, OEM certified, and ready to meet your needs in the quickest time possible. It's Kicking It with John Ryan.
Hey man, thanks for joining me. So last week you spilled wine, and I don't know what I had problems doing. Today I only got 1 day off from the car lot. We had a 3-day weekend. My birthday was yesterday, but we have the sink issue, and I thought, okay, I'll try to do this. And fuck me, I just I didn't drown anything, but I'll tell you what, man, I got such respect for like electricians or any of those guys, like handyman. Are you a handyman?
I am. I've redone both my condos in Arizona myself, all by myself, except for plumbing and electrician. I'm like, I need a plumber and electrician. I'm not messing with that stuff. If I can light it on fire or flood it, I'm not touching it.
Yeah, so this wasn't like a huge thing, but like it's like trying to replace like the sink drain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like unhook it. I didn't have the right. And you know the other thing that pisses me off, I'll be quite honest, they don't pay my bills. You go to a box store now, like remember when you went to a box store? And I usually go to the Home Hardware out here in White City because they're local folks and they know you by name, and it's kind of like almost like an old commercial, okay? Sure. But I go to these big box stores in the city, I won't name them. Nobody can help you. Nobody wants to help you. Aisle 36, middle row. So I go there and I'm like, I'm not even a radio announcer now. I'm a podcaster / car salesman. I don't know any of this shit. Can you help me? And they look as dumbfounded as me. Isn't that frustrating? To me, it is.
Yeah, it is. I remember back when I went to Sheldon. There's a little like mom and pop hardware store on Hill Avenue in the little strip mall there, beside the Houston Pizza. And even when we were like young, we'd go in there and ask for something. The guy would talk to us for 15 minutes, tell us exactly what we needed, and we were done. But, those days are long gone, unfortunately.
The only thing that drives me nuts too, this is a little sidebar. I go to Tim Hortons without fail, and it doesn't matter what Tim Hortons I go to, but I go to Tim Hortons and I'll get a coffee, and the odd time I'll get a bagel, okay? I don't do donuts anymore, diabetic. Not that bagels are the greatest for you, but I'll have a bagel with peanut butter, okay? They don't give me a napkin. I ask for one napkin, okay? Let me just paint this picture. They don't give me a napkin. I ask for one napkin, keeping in mind they never gave me a napkin, and then they rip me off 5 napkins. I didn't ask for 5. I asked for one, and you never gave me one at the first. Like, what's going on here? What world am I living in?
It's like when you go through the drive-thru, they never give you ketchup for your fries unless you ask it. Like I wasn't planning on dipping these into my Diet Coke. You know what I mean? Also, as you said last week, I walked in here. I was a little bit flustered last week. I was coming in a little bit late. I had my hands full. I had a glass of wine, red wine in one hand, a glass of water. Yeah. And right before I go in, Sarah goes, "What should I order for dinner?" I go, "Just order me chicken breast and rice from the Greek place. It's just perfect." Yeah. Then I'm like, drop my drink. Oh, God damn, I dropped my drink, blah, blah, blah. I come in here. I walk out. She's just standing there 30 minutes later with a big bag of McDonald's. I mean, you know me too well, you know.
That's good.
You're a little frustrated. I know you need McDonald's right now.
I love it. Okay, I won't keep you too long here, bro. But let's start. There's some football both sides of the border I wanted to talk about. Let's start in Canada. So the Labor Day Classic was an absolute classic. It was surreal for me to walk in there in Winnipeg gear. All the fans were nice. Everybody was nice to me. Good. My son played a decent game, although he didn't finish the game. But he's going to be good to go for the Banjo Bowl. Tavon Campbell picks off a pass and goes back a 2-point convert the other way. You don't get that in south of the border. Like, it was an epic game, the loudest game. Everything about it was good. But I got to get a comment from you on this. what do you think's going through Corey Mason's mind? So oh, by the way, Brett Lothar was great to my kid. First guy that ran over and talked to my kid. Class act, exchange text with Brett. I love Brett. Ethan loves Brett. So this isn't a comment on Brett per se. Like I love him. But the game is 31-24. Hold on. Yeah, 31-24. And they have the ball at the 43 of Winnipeg. Okay? You trot out Brett Lothar, and the game is over. There's no way the Bombers can win. There's like $1:36 to go. Okay? Mm-hmm. But the Riders elect to pooch it with Trevor Harris, a play he concocted with Mark Mueller. Great call. But that used to be Brett Lothar time. How do you read that? I read that. No, I'll just ask you. How do you read that?
I don't know. I think that there's two trains of thought. You kick the field goal and the game's over. You miss it, you could be in trouble. Let's pin them deep and they have to go 100 yards or what have you.
Yeah.
And I always think that if you don't have the confidence in your kicker to kick that kick, then he shouldn't be your kicker anymore. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what I feel like. If that thought ever goes through a coach, like I don't know if he's going to make it, no matter who it is, I don't think he should be your kicker anymore. And I obviously think Brett Lothar should be their kicker for sure. I've said that a million times, but that's what I see when I see a coach do something like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, like he did miss a 32-yard or 33-yard extra point, and I wasn't down there at field level. I was close. I was 10 rows up. I didn't notice a lot of wacky wind there, but it's different when you're on the field. But I agree with you. Like, that's something the Riders have to think about here. Like, it's almost like you're playing with one hand behind your back now. And now the coach is starting to second-guess things a bit, in my opinion.
And whether or not that was the case or not, I don't know. I know that in that stadium, sometimes when you're up in the stands, you can't feel what the wind's doing. And especially when you're kicking to the southern end zone, where the stadium kind of opens up there, you get some crazy winds down there, and all of a sudden you can hit a ball, then all of a sudden the 5-yard line, it just stops or goes right or left. It's a really tough. So I think that was definitely probably something to consider as well, because they were going towards the south end in the fourth quarter there, I believe.
Yeah. So I'll tell you this. After watching that game, I know I'm Bomber ballsy, so I got blue and gold glasses. I still can't believe it, man. That was surreal watching it.
Hey, they drafted me 21 years ago.
I love it. I was worried that people were going to kind of be a little bit mean and heckling and stuff. I'll tell you, I was pleasantly surprised about how Bomber fans and Rider fans interacted. I'm not talking just me, like just in general. Thought it was we were playful rivals, but there was no stupidity, at least that I could see. And so I was happy about that. I really thought when I'm sitting there, too, a couple other things struck me. For a $300 million stadium, the sound system at Mosaic sucks. It's absolutely ass. You can't hear anything. And then the Maxtron's already fucked up. So I don't know like what they're doing there. It's kind of different, weird colors. But where I'm going with this is I don't even know where I'm going with this now. The Blue Bomber. What was I talking about here? The Blue Bombers going.
You were talking about the fans interacting with how you brought that up with.
Fans interacting, and you're going in there and you're not quite sure how it's going to work out. What I loved about it though, John, was just the Canadiana of it. To sit in the crowd. And I know, like, when you're calling a game, you're kind of busy and you know all the facts, but you're not there as a fan. Just the way people dress up, the way that let's go Bombers, let's go Riders, guys dress up like the Pope, like Jesus, like in Bomber coveralls. And then you got like Ethan Ball, bottom of the roster guy. TSN's in his face in the locker room before. They shoot him during the national anthem. Brady Oliveira, there's Dembski, there's Neufeld, there's Furland. Like, it's just really a Canadian. It's what Canadian football is all about right there.
I think it's the greatest. The Labor Day Classic in Regina is the greatest snapshot of Canadian football and just Canadian civilization. Just what we are, what it means to be Canadian, what it means to be a CFL fan. And in a lot of ways, I think I don't want to say it's bigger than the Grey Cup, but if you want to go to one game and really feel what it's like to watch a Canadian Football League game, I would say go to the Labor Day Classic in Regina. It's something else.
I was kind of... I was wondering, how's Tavon Campbell going to be? Is he going to still have that juice? Is he going to have that juice at 30 years old? He's played in the NFL. He's a talented guy. Man, that guy still has it, and that's a great signing by the Riders. Like, he closed on one play to break up a pass where he was beat cleanly, and then he's got the interception to seal the game. You got a Canadian there. You got Jackson Ford, his grandfather Al Ford, starting safety. But that was a great signing by the Riders.
phenomenal. And I was wondering the exact same thing. I mean, a lot of guys, they go and play in the NFL and they come back and it's a bit of a letdown for them and they don't perform up to standards. And as well as a defensive back when you're 30 or you're kind of on the back nine. And he's been phenomenal this year. I've been very thoroughly impressed with how he's played.
You wonder if this might be Mitch Picton's last ride. They brought in Tommy Neild, and then a Joe on one-day practice comes in, actually plays on special teams and had the 2-point convert. And I love Mitch Picton. Mitch has been such a warrior for the Riders, and he's been on that roster because he's one of the smartest guys on offense. Like, he can play any position, but you just wonder, like, how does he get back in the lineup?
Yeah, it's tough. They brought back Eju. How do you say it? Eju?
A Joe.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah,
I have enough of a speech impediment to start off with. Just give me a break here.
You said right, you didn't.
Yeah. when they brought him back, I was like, I didn't know what that meant for Picton, but he's been kind of one of the backbones of that team. He's a good Canadian guy who's there. He's been up and down from the practice roster at the start of his career, and then just being a real solid receiver, just a real solid locker room guy. He's one of those guys that I know when he moves on to the Dairy Queen dynasty that his family has built, that he'll be doing just fine. But man, I hope he plays for a couple more.
So Zach Collaros, I'll tell you what. I once again, that's where I was going. I'm Bomber Ballsy. That's where I was going. Sorry, he comes back. Forgive me. I just turned 53. The cheese is slipping off the cracker. Maybe you got a speech impediment, and my memory's good, just not all the time. So yeah. I know I'm Bomber Ballsy here, but if I have the reason why I give the Winnipeg Blue Bombers a puncher's chance, even though they're kind of a middling team record-wise, is Zach Collaros gives them a chip, a chair, and a chance. He is still the best quarterback in the CFL. Yep. That O-line is getting a little long in the tooth, and the Riders' D-line is nasty. Zach is not a scrambler per se, but he can extend plays, and man, he made, as my son said on the post-game show, he made throws that you don't see on Sundays in the NFL in that game.
Yeah, when the chips are down, he's the guy you want to go to. And as you said, that team might be a little long in the tooth here and there at different spots, but the way that O'Shea is going to handle it coming down the stretch, he's going to know how hard to press on them in practices, how much to do there, and it's just why the Bombers, right around this time, probably around next week, that's usually when they start coming on lately. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish off 6-1 here, or we'll have whatever. They're going to be up there. So they're going to be right there, I think.
I was shocked to see that Brady Oliveira only touched the ball like 5 times in that game. Though. I would expect a heavy dose of Brady O in this game coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be loud in Winnipeg. It's one of the loudest games I've played in when you go back to that Bounja Bowl. And, I remember in the 2019, we won in the last play of the game and just thinking, it's going to be another tight game going to Winnipeg, and they just kicked our ass all over the field. And I feel like that's kind of what they do a little bit, is they keep it tight in the Labor Day Classic, and then they go back and, they could win that game by 21 this weekend.
Yeah. So is it louder at Winnipeg or louder at Saskatchewan?
I'm going to get killed for saying this, but for that game, I felt like it was louder in Winnipeg. They have I don't know what they have, 10 seats or something, but everything was so tinny there that it was hard to hear.
Well,
so,
I think
don't know.
You're onto something, and it has nothing to do with maybe being the better fans, because I think it's 1A or 1B. It's a coin flip. The difference, I believe, sitting in both stadiums now, is the construction of the stadium. The Ryder Stadium is more like, it kind of goes like a V away from the field, where Winnipeg is more like an NFL true up and down stadium with a canopy on top, and it keeps everything inside.
It's very, very similar to the stadium in Seattle. It's just a 50% as large as that one, but it reminded me a lot of that when I went in there and heard that noise, how it kind of reverberates back into itself, and it reminded me a lot of the playing in Seattle, to be honest.
I don't remember if we talked about this last week, but we'll reiterate it now. For the odd person that missed our award-winning segment. John, the guy with no hair and no brain and the speech impediment guy who looks like $1 million and is a sports mogul, John, the Labor Day, like this weekend and now the rest of the way, do you notice the intensity ramp up in the CFL? Do you really notice it now?
I do. I played for a guy named Jim Daly. Jim Daly.
Jim Daly.
Back in half of 04 and all of 05, he was our head coach in Winnipeg. And he always said, like, even if we had a bad record those 2 years, which we did, he goes, the season doesn't really start till right now. We got 8 games left, counting Labor Day. And if most teams in the league, if they go 6-2, even 5-3, they're going to make the playoffs. You usually only need 9 wins to make the playoffs, sometimes 8. So this is when it really starts. And, you want to go hot into the playoffs. So this is the most important time of the year. And I feel like this is really when it kicks up, believe it or not, in Canada, these Americans might not believe it, but that's when the weather starts to turn right around now. You start to get some of those games that are a little more crisp. Running game becomes more important. And it's kind of the best time of the year in the CFL for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the Toronto Argonauts, man. They're still hanging around, and what's his name? Chad Kelly said he's hinted that he might be coming back after the bye week here. He proclaimed himself one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the world. I would say, Chad, no disrespect, but you're not even the best quarterback on your team. Nick Arbuckle's having a hell of a year, and I think the Argos are going to have a decision to make. Like, do you pull Nick Arbuckle out? And if you keep Nick Arbuckle in and he keeps rolling, what do you do next year? Like, one of those guys is going to be on another team next year, in my opinion, starting somewhere.
It's a good point. I think that he does have the potential, and when he's healthy, Kelly does have could possibly be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. But you got to ride the hot hand right now. So to sit a guy down, I always kind of stay away from that. I would go with the hot hand because, as you said, like I said last week that it's a 4-team race right now. And I think that Toronto might be that team because anything can happen in the East.
Yeah,
right
Montreal, now. Montreal's getting hot.
BC Lions could still make the playoffs in the East. So anything can happen in the East. So those top 2 teams, you're playing at home, and you're getting a bye, so anything can happen.
Well, East, West, that's not an easy trip. Like, if the BC Lions are the crossover team, I don't see them having much success. But I do believe this, even though I don't think they'll end up there. If the Winnipeg Blue Bombers go on a crossover, they are positioned perfectly as the center of Canada. It's not that far of a flight out east. They're a veteran team. They know how to win tough games. Like, their easiest, and I don't mean this disparagingly, their easiest path to hosting a Grey Cup game on their home turf might be going through the East, although I don't think they'll be the crossover team.
I played in the CFL when Winnipeg was in the East. It wasn't that long ago where they played in the East. But before Ottawa came back, I think my first year they played, the second year they folded again for the second or third time, and Winnipeg was in the East. So it's the best advantage for them, in my opinion. You think that Winnipeg going into Montreal, I think Winnipeg would be a favorite. But also, I do think Winnipeg's going to come on pretty good right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish 11, 12 wins.
Yeah, okay. I hope you're right.
I'll give him 11. I'll give him 11 wins.
As Bomber Ballsy, I hope you're right. So that Toronto, the Ryder game was indicative of what the CFL is all about, the Labor Day Classic, and that Labor Day game, Toronto and Hamilton. Like, you had Tiger Cat fans getting up. I was listening to the Argos broadcast going somewhere, and Mike Hogan goes, why are these people leaving? The Hamilton Tiger Cats can still come back, and sure as shit, that's exactly what they did. And then the bomb to Brissett, and he goes out of bounds, and they have to check one. Like, that is the CFL at its best, man.
Man, it's one of those things where you're just screaming at the field for the guy to get down. Like, make the catch, get down, kick the field goal. Like, in the CFL, you always get that last play. No matter, as long as there's 1 second, you get that last play, and he just barely, he got that foot out by accident. I think if he hadn't, he probably would have scored. But, it was like you're just like screaming at the TV, like, get down, buddy. But it worked out for them. That was just another crazy finish. Those first 2 games in crazy. Then I can't wait for the night game or the afternoon game, the Battle of Alberta. And it was they laid a bit of an egg there in Edmonton, unfortunately.
Well, Edmonton everybody was high on Edmonton. And I said, let's wait to see what Edmonton does. If they can split the 2 against Calgary. I knew they wouldn't sweep, then I'm going to buy Edmonton stock. But Calgary, I'll tell you what, Riders have the best record, but I think Calgary's the best team.
Yeah, I looked at a few of the power rankings. I think there's a few people out there that agree with you that they have them at number 1, Saskatchewan at number 2. It's two really good football teams, But I was really, I think I was on here a couple weeks ago when I said Edmonton's 1-6. They got to get going right now. They got to go with Cody. They got to get going right now. And they reel off 3 straight wins, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, when you're 4-6 in the CFL, you're in pretty good shape. Yeah. But it looked a lot different at 4-7 after you got your ass kicked compared to 5-6. So
Okay,
We
so
gotta.
let's talk a little south of the border football, John,
Yep.
before I let you go. Micah Parsons gets traded from Dallas to Green Bay.
Unbelievable.
What do you make of that trade? In the end, I think Dallas is going to do well for themselves. They got a decent player, and then they got 2 first-round picks with their own 2 first-round picks, and that's supposed to be, the draft next year is supposed to be pretty good.
I agree with that. I think that when you live in Dallas, everything's about right now. Everything's about this year. It's not like Cleveland or anywhere else where you can look forward to next year in the draft. You want to win right now. And to let go of a generational player, in my opinion, a generational player like Micah Parsons is crazy. And I think it's starting to show Jerry Jones is losing it a little bit upstairs.
Yeah.
I don't think he never played with a full deck to start off with, and now it's there's not that many cards left in that deck. What he saw like last year, signing Dak Prescott, announcing it like 2 hours before kickoff or an hour before kickoff week 1, it looked really bad. Now this, when they kind of flaunted their dirty laundry all over the place, the two of those guys, and just said everything that they had to say, it looks bad again. So I mean, I'm always surprised to see a blockbuster trade at any time of the year in the NFL because it's not the NHL, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I think it instantly puts Green Bay into a top 5 team.
Yeah, I think they're a Super Bowl contender now. I really do.
Yep,
I think
I
they're a
agree.
Super Bowl contender. Now, speaking of staying around too long, so the first 3 Super Bowls that New England won, I think they were defensive wins. Like Belichick should get a lot of credit for those because Tom Brady wasn't a star quarterback. You guys gave them one, okay? And then I think Tom Brady had a lot to do with 2 other wins, okay? And then, Tom goes to Tampa and wins the Super Bowl. And without Tom Brady in Cleveland, in New England, and now his first game in UNC, Bill Belichick's teams average 19 points a game. Is this going to tarnish his legacy? That was not a good first game.
Yeah, no, it did not look good at all, did it?
Yep.
I find it hard that it'll tarnish his legacy. I think there'll be some people will have a bit of an asterisk beside it. I don't think they'd be people that live in New England area, but I think people will kind of see it as an asterisk, saying like, he did all that. It was really Tom driving that bus, not him. I think that's going to kind of be maybe a bit of a tarnished legacy, but at the same time, the guy's done a lot.
Yeah. So who's a better coach though? Like, okay, you got all the Super Bowls, but we just said a lot of it had to do with Tom Brady. Let's be honest, not diminishing what Belichick did. Who's a better coach though? Andy Reid or Bill Belichick? Because Andy Reid is one. Andy Reid went to like a bunch of NFC Championship games, went to a Super Bowl and lost to Belichick, and then has won in Kansas City. Like he's been, I don't know, has he been more of a winner than Belichick? If you look over the course of, I know that sounds dumb because Belichick's won the Super Bowl, but you know where I'm going with this.
I think at the end of the day, the rings are the thing. I think that kind of trumps everything. But at the same time, I think what I have so much respect for with Andy Reid is when he kind of came back, before he kind of showed his personality like he has been in all these freaking commercials and everything, you kind of thought he was the old man, the old coach like snoring in the corner of the room while watching game film, and the game probably passed him by, and nothing could be farther from the truth. He has all those players that absolutely love him. He's letting them do all this crazy stuff that no other team does. I watched that documentary last year where they have a 15 minutes after practice. They call it the lab or something, where they just make up plays, and then if anything he likes, he kind of takes it. Stuff like that no one else is doing. Bill Belichick does not do that. I'll tell you that much. So I have a lot of respect for what he's doing, and I think that he still has the opportunity, if he goes 5 more years, that he still could win 2 more, and he could be right up there.
I'm really in CFL mode. Hold on here a second. Give me a second. I'm just trying to figure this out. We've got week 1 of the NFL coming out. Who do you easy? Eagles will smoke the Cowboys, won't they? Thursday night.
They have to.
Yeah, I think they will. Who do you got? Chiefs or Chargers in Brazil?
I got 2 things on this. This is gonna be a great game. The neutral site is really makes it a lot of even. We're not playing this game in LA or in Arrowhead. Yeah. It's going to be a 3-point game, and I think that the Chargers could win.
I think the Chargers are going to win. I think the Eagles are going to win. Who do you got?
Do you want to hear something interesting, though?
Yeah.
In 1961, they made a law that no NFL game could be played on a Friday or a Saturday within 75 miles of a high school or a college. So starting the second week in September to the second week in November. So next year, with Labor Day being late, they cannot play a Friday night game to start the year next year.
Why is that?
It's a law they passed in 1961. Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 that bans broadcast of professional football by any station within 75 miles of a high school or college football game.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
I heard rumors of this law way back in the day, but they people don't realize how big high school football here is and how hard they fight to protect it. So
that's good. I like that, man. Hey, I got I don't know what the line is, but whatever the line is, I'm taking the Giants and the points at the Commanders. I think that could be an upset game. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they're going to surprisingly cover. Commanders defense got old, and I think Jaden Daniels is a great quarterback, but I think he could have the CJ Stroud effect where he takes a step back this year.
I think he's a great quarterback. He had an absolutely fantastic year last year, but a lot of those wins weren't like real convincing wins. In my opinion, I think there was a lot of wins that could have went either way. So I think that I don't want to say it was a fluke by any means. It's hard to win in the NFL. I just don't see them having the same success this year as they had last year. So the Giants going in there, Russell Wilson. Who knows? But it could be a game.
Okay, so a couple more games I want your thoughts on. Your Seahawks are 2-point dogs at home over the 49ers. I think they'll easily cover at home. I think the Seahawks win that game.
I hope so. I'm flying out on Saturday morning to be there. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. And, that's such a great rivalry game. So 49ers will be well represented in that stadium. But I'm loving Mike McDonald's defense. And then I'll get to kind of see the progression of that in year number 2. And then you see, Cooper Kupp and JSN and Sam Darnold. I want to see what they have, working together too. So I'm a little bit more excited about the offense as well this year. Last year I kind of went in so excited about the defense, what he was going to do with it. So I'm pretty pumped to see what they're going to do on offense as well.
Lions and Packers. Lions got new coordinators this year. Packers got Micah Parsons. I think he'll play. The Packers got off to a bit of a slow start because Love was hurt off and on during the year. I'm going Packers at home, Lambeau Field over the Lions.
Damn, I hate agreeing with you. But, I think the Lions were a little bit like I just said about Washington last year. They're not going to go 15-2 again. You know what I'm saying? They're just, it's not going to happen. They're going to be a 12-win team, in my opinion. And I think Green Bay is they're on the way up, adding Micah Parsons, even though he's just been there for a week. I don't think it matters at that position necessarily. And in Green Bay, opening day, I mean, it's going to be rocking in there. And I take the Packers too.
I got the Texans over your Rams. Stafford hasn't played. The back is kind of up in the air. I know he's a veteran, but he hasn't played at all. Not much in training camp either. And their left tackle suspect. So I got the Texans winning that one. I don't know if you agree with me there, but I kind of got the Texans upsetting them.
You know what? It's one of the worst home field advantages in all of football. The Rams, the Chargers, and the Raiders. Because that's what, if you see that team on your schedule as an opponent, that's the one game you're going to come to. You're going to come to LA. You're going to come to. So a lot of those games, a lot of Rams home games don't even really feel like home games. So I think you kind of take the crowd out of it. Getting a little long in the tooth there at the quarterback position. CJ Stroud, I think he's going to have, I don't want to say a comeback season, but I think he's going to have a really, really good season. So, I kind of like Houston too.
Okay, and then we got the Ravens and the Bills. That's a Sunday night football. Everybody's picking the Bills. I think we've talked about this before, if Sean McDermott doesn't win a Super Bowl, then I think he's fired with Buffalo. There's a lot of pressure there. But I have the Ravens against the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl this year. That is my pick.
Yep.
And I think the Ravens make a statement and win this game on the road to start the season.
Yeah, it'd be a hell of a statement because Buffalo's a hard place to play, and they're still a good football team. As you said, I think I don't want to say it's make or break, but it's getting pretty close to that point. You kind of got McDermott. You're like, what? You're a good coach, but are you going to ever win us this big one? You haven't really come that close to. We haven't been in the show.
He's Danny Barrett.
So, Danny Barrett, sure, but I gotta keep on agreeing with you, so I gotta go with Buffalo. for no other reason than I'm agreeing with you way too much today.
Okay, and the last one, it's intriguing here. Ben Johnson takes over. He's got Caleb Williams at quarterback. He was okay at times. He maybe had a bit of a rough training camp, they're saying. And nobody has seen J.J. McCarthy play in a real game.
Yeah.
He didn't. So I'm interested to see what J.J. McCarthy does. Vikings at the Bears. Vikings got a great roster, but the quarterback's a big question mark. I think the Bears will be clunky at the start of the year, but they'll pick up steam. I'm going Vikings Monday Night Football on the road.
Yeah, that's kind of the big question mark is what J.J. McCarthy has. Sitting off a whole year is rough, especially when you're 22 years old or whatever he is.
Yeah.
So he's the big question mark. Caleb Williams, is he going to kind of come back and have a better year, kind of learn something from that first year? I think he will, because I think he has a ton of talent. It's going to be a good game though. But I think I'm going to go with JJ and the Vikings as well.
All right, man. Thanks for agreeing with me. I appreciate that. You make me,
It
make me
hurts.
feel
Yeah,
good
man.
because I'm on a stressful day, man. Anyway, thanks for your time. I appreciate it, John.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime.
And it's time to take a look at CFL Simulations from our friend Keith Willoughby, the dean at the Edwards School of Business and our own dean here at Ballsy Uncut. He runs each week 100,000 CFL simulations and gets us our results. Now, I'm just trying to find him here. So last week he said the computer model went 2-1. I was 1-2. I had Winnipeg beating Saskatchewan. I had Calgary beating Edmonton, and I had Hamilton beating Toronto. How about Nick Arbuckle? What he's done in Toronto, even though Jake Kelly's kind of probably feeling the heat right now and hinting that he's going to come back after the bye week. I'm coming back. Well, I don't know if I'd change up. Nick Arbuckle having a career year and building on that Grey Cup MVP performance in Vancouver last year. So, for this week, the computer, according to Keith Willoughby's Commodore 64, the Dean's computer, it's got Ottawa over BC at 73.8%. Montreal over Hamilton, 55.2%. That's interesting. Montreal's getting healthier. Austin Mack is back. Tyson Philpott is back. Marc-Antoine Dequoy back at safety. So that might be the way to go. Winnipeg over Saskatchewan at 66.8%. In a lot of cases, that's how it goes. One team wins in their stadium. The other team wins in their stadium. Last year, Winnipeg won both. I wouldn't be shocked if the Riders pulled off the sweep. They haven't won there since 2018. But I think I'm going to go with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And I would expect Brady Oliveira to get the rock quite a bit. Like, they're going to pound that rock with him. I mean, I have no knowledge of that, but they are going to get back to the MOP being the focal point of that offense. So yeah, the computer is Winnipeg over Saskatchewan, and Calgary's a road favorite over Edmonton at 56.1%. I am going BC's going to beat Ottawa, although BC's defense is big question mark there with Mike Benavides taking over. But I am going to go BC over Ottawa. That's key. And that'll be a key game in the crossover situation too, because that is starting to factor in now with 7 games to go. I'm going to go, I'm going to take Hamilton over Montreal. I'm going to go against the computer there. Tiger Cats probably deserved a better fate against Toronto in some cases, but in other cases, they deserve to lose. I am going to go Winnipeg in a coin flip game over Saskatchewan. 66.8% would tell you, like from the computer's point of view, would tell you that it's going to be, a 8 to 10 point victory. And I could see that for the Bombers, but I think it's going to be more like a field goal or 4-point win, a pick'em game. And I do think Calgary beats Edmonton. I said if Edmonton can split with Calgary in these 2 games, then I'm kind of buying what's going on there. But they didn't look good at all. Calgary's got probably the best football team in the CFL when they're healthy, even though the Riders have the better record. So I think Calgary will beat Edmonton. Keith's computer tells us the probability of a Western crossover is at 56.6%. Right now, BC's position for a crossover, and they've got a long distance to travel. So I don't know if I would say they'll be poised to make anything happen if it's a Western crossover in the CFL playoffs. Calgary and Saskatchewan both projected to finish 13-5. Calgary owns the tiebreaker and finishes in first, obviously. The computer loves the Stamps with a 41.8% probability of winning the Grey Cup. Saskatchewan, 31.3% down from 69.1% 2 weeks ago. Hamilton's at 11.3%. But according to Keith and the computer, watch out for the Argos. The computer's projecting them to finish second in the CFL's East. I don't know about that, but they are playing better ball. And like I said, Nick Arbuckle is on a roll right now, and I would not switch him up at quarterback. All right, we're going to wrap this show up now talking to our athlete of the week. And her dad, Ryan Horne from Specs by Ryan, a good friend of mine. Sorry, I had a blank there. I want to get her name correct here. Just give me 1 second. It's a hyphenated name, and I forgot. That's why I kind of had a bit of a brain fart there. She is playing basketball at San Francisco University. And her name is, like, she's got a great first name, Naveah Ferrara Horne. Her dad owns Specs by Ryan. Great guy. And we're going to talk to her. She's our athlete of the week. It's coming up next. She's one of my favorite interviews lately to do, actually, to be honest with you. Playing D1 basketball. Was at Harvest City in Regina, went to a prep school in London, Ontario, then went to Grand Forks, North Dakota, where my kid was playing football, and then off to San Francisco University in the portal with the NIL and all that stuff. We'll chat with her next on Ballsy Uncut. Naveah, that's an awesome name. So who takes credit for that, mom or dad?
I don't know, honestly. Probably both.
How many times do you get, like, do people generally pronounce it correct or not really?
Honestly, no. I just started classes last week, and probably all my professors got it wrong. So
what do they call you?
Naveah,
Yeah,
Naveah, anything.
Naveah. I love it. I love it.
They might not even say the full name. They'll probably just like get to half of it and be like, "Okay, what is it?"
Okay, so going, you're a Regina girl, you went to UND where my son played football. What was that like to go from Regina to UND? Not so bad. Your parents get to travel, watch your games. Just tell me about that experience.
Honestly, I really liked it because I came from a prep school in Ontario, actually. So it was really nice just having all the resources I needed. Like I could go to practice and work out whenever I wanted, had the gym available all the time. Food there whenever I wanted, just anything really. Like I came from a prep school where it was a struggle to get from one point to another, or I didn't always have food. So it was just really nice. Honestly, it was kind of like luxurious in a way for me. Like I felt like it was an upgrade. So I was like, okay, like I don't miss home at all, honestly. Whereas some of my other teammates who it was their first year being away from home, they were kind of missing it. And I was like, no, I love it here, honestly. So it was really good. I liked it a lot. And it's a nice college town. So you get to meet a lot of cool people. And even though there's not much to do in the city, it's a lot to do with the people there.
Well, that's good and bad. Like there's not a lot to do, but you're focused on studies. You get a good friend group, and you can go to hockey games or go to football games or go check. Did you do any of the other sports and watch any of the other sports too?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I went to the football games like against NDSU. Those were fun when we like sled the field. That was so fun.
Yeah.
And then the hockey games were really cool. Like their arena was so nice, which I loved going to the games, but I also hate when we had to run the stairs for conditioning. So, and then, I went to some volleyball games, went to some soccer games. Honestly, all the sports were really fun to watch.
Awesome. Yeah. Isn't it cool? Like, so you went to a prep school in London, Ontario. We'll talk about that in a second, but like you were at Harvest City here, and then for grade 12, right? You went to a prep school. So, but listen, I'm Regina. I'm an older guy, obviously, but with my son down there, I'm like, holy crap. Like, it's hard to believe that a small little city like this can have all these facilities. And then have they finished that softball stadium yet? Because the dude's daughter is a softball player, and he's like, I'll build you a stadium, but my daughter has to start on opening weekend, or I'm not funding it. And they're like, bang, 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 bang. They put it up. Like, did you find that amazing too? Small little place like that, all the facilities?
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't know that about the softball team, but I did know that they got a new facility, so that was really nice. I actually never went there. Probably should have, but I didn't know I'd be transferring. So honestly, I thought I had more time, so whatever. But no, the facilities are actually really good, especially hockey. Like hockey gets everything there. Like that's like the main sport, and then obviously football is nice too. And but we also got a nice like kind of like smoothie station my second year, where like, you know, we'd all go make smoothies. We had all these protein like shakes and like just anything really, like apples, bananas, random snacks. We'd all eat before practice. We'd have breakfast stuff. So sometimes like I'm really bad at eating breakfast in the morning, so I'll just go eat there. But I had to wake up a couple hours early before practice so I could go there, and then because I can't eat like too soon before practice, or else
You don't like breakfast? That's my favorite meal.
I love breakfast, but when it's before a practice, I'm probably going to puke. So I have to eat it maybe like 2 hours before at least. So if we have like a 6:30 practice, if I want to eat something, it's got to be like probably 4:30, 4:45, which is kind of crazy, but I can't go on an empty stomach either.
I saw you play live once there. You're a great player.
Oh, really?
And I like that facility actually. I really love that. I really love that facility. Like it's a nice, quaint little. Like that's a nice basketball facility too. You know, for
it is.
Town, yeah. Yeah,
and a lot of people would show out, honestly. Like there was a lot of fans, and it was really fun playing in that environment.
Yeah, Ethan loved going to the girls and boys games there. Okay, so you went to London, Ontario. Just tell us a bit about, because that's a pretty sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. It's a well looked upon prep school that you went to in London, Ontario.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Honestly, I didn't know for sure that that was what I was going to do going into my grade 12 year, but it was kind of, no, I wouldn't say last minute, but I knew some people there, and I was like, okay, if I stay in Regina, I don't know if that's going to help me as much to go Division 1, whereas if I were to go to Ontario and they have a great league, great competition, get some more exposure down south, whereas Regina doesn't really have that exposure. So it was a really good place to be for a year, honestly, and I think that it helped me grow as a player, and also just maturity, just being away from home a year early. Like I said, it helped me easily transition to the college level. So it was great. I did really well that year, got all-star, and it kind of gave me some recognition with my stats to go play in the States, as well as just my coach having some connections there and them seeing my film or seeing me in person at some tournaments when we were in the States.
Do you have a good like, okay, so your first year you're there a couple years, right, at UND? Am I correct about that?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, so your first year you're cutting your teeth as a rookie and you're figuring things out, and you're a shooting guard, and your second year you kind of burst on the scene and get some tape, and that's why you're now in San Francisco. But was there like a welcome to the, you know, NCAA moment for you? Like for Ethan, I'll never forget, he was texting me, Dad, thanks for getting me here, because he played at Nebraska at Lincoln Field where there's 92,000. He's like, Dad, I'll never forget this. Thank you very much. Was there a moment like that for you?
Honestly, I think yes. When we had our first home game, they put me in as the 5, the post.
Yeah.
So I'm having to guard the big girl on the other team. And keep in mind, that's not my position. You know, I'll do whatever the coach wants me to do, but they put me in. And this is like an experienced post player I'm going against. Get like 2 fouls back to back, boom, on the bench. So I just thought of that. And honestly, I haven't thought about that before, really. But now that I think of it, that would be my welcome to college moment.
Okay, so so it's great. You're in London, Ontario. You're away from your family. Then you move to Grand Forks, which is 7.5 hours away from your family, which is nice, but you're still away. And now you're like, excuse my language, now you're like, fuck it, I'm going to San Francisco. So how do you go from UND to San Francisco? What was that whole process like? Because that wasn't the only university that was after you were liking what you were offering.
It was a crazy process. Like I said, didn't expect to be entering the portal. This was kind of a last minute decision, honestly. I was the last one to enter the portal from all my teammates who left. There was 8 of us who left. And I kind of just had to make the choice to bet on myself. I was playing a lot of minutes. There were some 40-minute games that I'd played at UND, so it wasn't a lack of playing time. It was just, I wasn't fully happy there. And in my role and what I was allowed to do on the team as well. So I kind of had to bet on myself and be like, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know for sure if I'm going to get interest. You don't know until you enter the portal who's going to be after you or if anyone's going to be after you. So I kind of had to make that decision to kind of risk it, I guess. So I put my name in the portal, and basically what that is a huge list of all the players who want to transfer schools, and all the coaches can see. And I don't think there's much information on it because I can't see it from my end, obviously, as a player. But the coaches either know who the player is or have to do research on them. So for me, I guess I had some good film, I had some good stats, and I think that a lot of coaches recognize that. And I was very grateful to have a lot of interest and offers in the portal, which, like I said, I didn't know for sure if this was going to happen. So I was very grateful for that. And San Francisco obviously stood out to me because I love the West Coast Conference. We play some amazing schools. We'll be going to, we'll be going all the way from like Pepperdine and Santa Clara and like kind of like down south of California more, and all the way up to like Spokane, Washington, playing Gonzaga and playing Portland, you know. So it's a really cool conference. And I mean, that really appealed to me. And it's a better conference than the Summit League. I'm sure some teams could compete as well, but the West Coast Conference is one of the higher mid-major conferences, and I'm super excited to compete in it.
So you said, without disparaging anybody, you just weren't happy totally with your role at UND. So what in terms of your role, and you still gotta, you know, you're just nicely into it, so it's still a wild card, but what kind of did they present to you? You're like, okay, I think I'll like this. Like, besides the conference, on the team, your role, what are you going to like about playing at San Francisco University?
Well, their play style is a lot more opportunistic and not as well. There's structure, of course. Every offense has a structure. Every team will have a structure, but it's a lot more just play basketball. There's some plays, but just take the opportunities and do what you can do and use your strengths, I guess. And I guess at UND, I was able to showcase my shooting a lot, but I feel like my driving, I was able to do it here and there, but there was kind of more rules within the offense of when you can drive and what you have to do with the ball at all times. So I didn't mind it, to be honest. It was good, but, and again, this isn't the main reason I transferred, but it's one of them. And I'm really excited to try a new play style and be able to showcase more parts of my game that I haven't fully been able to showcase. And I think like I have so much momentum going into this next season. I feel really confident in my game. So I'm pumped to, you know, see how it goes. And I'm just excited for our team. We have a whole new team of 10 new players, 5 freshmen, I believe, and then 5 transfers and 3 returners. So it's going to be exciting. We're all kind of clicking and starting to practice now, and it's going really well, and I'm really excited for us.
Male or female coach? Just
female.
Female. Okay. Are most women's basketball teams coached by females now? Like, or do we still have the mixture? Like, it's just a question.
There's still a mixture, so
yeah.
I don't know. I've only played for female coaches in college, so
yeah.
But I don't know. I really like my head coach right now, and she's very like she believes in us, and I think that was a big reason too why I committed. And she's hard on us, but she just wants what's best, and she'll be honest with you. But at the end of the day, she knows what we're capable of. So that's what I really like about her, and the rest of the coaching staff is great as well.
So people that haven't watched you play, good Regina girl, showing Saskatchewan pride in California. We haven't watched you play, like I have, but other people haven't watched you play. In one sentence or so, yeah. Tell me how you play. Tell me your style. Tell my people that watch this your style.
Well, I like to shoot the ball. If I'm open, any space, I'll shoot it. And the good thing about that is if someone closes out too far, gives me a bit of room to drive, I'll drive the corner and, you know, use my moves inside. I kind of am crafty a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I like to finish inside too, but I feel like I'm also, when I have people collapse on me, I can kick it out and find the open person. So, and also this year, yeah, we'll see a little bit more posting up because my team wants us to post up. So I'm really excited about that, honestly, because I wasn't able to do that at UND, and they kind of want all players here to post up if they have mismatches. So stay tuned for that.
I like that. Stay tuned. Do you like to throw the elbows when you're down on the post? Do you get pretty physical or what?
Oh yeah, like when we practice at our regular practice here at San Francisco, we have a practice squad of guys who we play against every day. And one of them, we trash talk so much, he'll always be like, hey, you just hit me with your elbow, or like talking like that, and I'll be like, okay, you're fine. I hardly touched you. Like, chill. Like he'll always be saying like, yeah, he'll always be saying like, put your elbows away. I'm like, okay, you're fine. Just stop like complaining, stop
Yeah.
arguing. Like, we'll be like trash talking all the time, but it's really fun.
Quit whining. I love it. I love who's the
Yeah.
trash talker? Your dad or your mom?
My dad.
Your dad's the
I have
trash
to
talker.
say, yeah, to me.
Your dad's Specs by Ryan. He also, what's his media company again off the top of my head? Do you know what that is? He sent me a bunch of pictures.
Oh, Burst Mode Media.
Yeah, so that too. But Specs by Ryan. So my question is, how many pairs of glasses do you have?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head, but I have a good amount of pairs of sunglasses and regular
Yeah.
glasses. But
Do you need glasses,
I mean,
or you just have them for designer glasses?
no, I do need glasses, but a lot of the time I'm wearing my contacts because like I'm practicing every single day, so you know I need them. But
Look
yeah.
at this. Look at this. These are Specs by Ryan right there. I got this.
Nice.
This is 151 of 191. Drake's Cadillac, your dad said, made out of the same stuff my glasses are made of. So there you go. So I literally helped contrite to your college fund there. I literally helped, I guess.
No, no, you didn't help me.
I just bugging you. Okay. So here's a big question. Is there much more to do in San Francisco than Grand Forks?
No.
What
No.
what have you enjoyed? Like, have you checked out some of the great spots?
Oh my God, I've done so many things since I've gone here. I went to Chinatown, I went to Pier 39, I literally went to Santa Cruz this weekend. What else did I do here? Oh, I went to there's like this Presidio, there's Golden Gate Park, there is what's it called? Palace of Fine Arts. Super nice. It feels like you're in Italy. There's a million things to do and a million food spots to try. So it's kind of bad. I've been spending a lot of money on food here. It's like so good that I just like need to stop. But I need to reward myself a little bit and just try it out. But there's so much to do here. I've never been so not bored in my life.
That's awesome. I love it. And it's good to see a smile on your face. A couple more quick questions. I appreciate you taking time. Another question. What do you take in school? Like, basketball is great, but it's not going to last forever. What are you taking in school?
I'm in business management right now. So
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it yet. But I mean, my dad obviously, owns a business and does stuff with that. And I don't know exactly, like I said, what I want to do, but I think there's so many options. And I feel like I'm not limited at all in what I do with it. So maybe I can go back to doing something in basketball or, choosing to do something else, but it just leaves a lot of options.
So you talked about kind of being like a freelancer. You like improvising. That's kind of what I got in your game a bit. You just played 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that. Cause you guys got, like, you represented Saskatchewan, right? But didn't you get you got acclimated? What I mean is you didn't have to win Saskatchewan. You just made a team and you got to go, right?
Pretty much, yeah, because no other team signed up. But I think we put together a pretty good team, and I think we were the underdogs the whole time. Like I said, because we didn't even expect really to be going. It's kind of like, okay, perfect, we got a team, let's go. So it's a fun little trip, and we didn't have too high of expectations because we didn't really have overly amounts of time to practice and do things. But we've played together for a long time, and we know each other's games, and we're good friends. So when we went down there, it was really good. We didn't end up winning, which still kind of hurts, but Ontario ended up winning, and we were the only team that ended up beating them the day before in the tournament. They were undefeated other than against us, so kind of sucked. But next year, I think I'm gonna, if the tournament's back on next year, I'm putting in a team, and I want to win. So now I know what it's all about.
That was in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. What was it like to beat Ontario, the Juggernauts? That must have been cool.
Oh, it was so fun, honestly. It was great. We were all pumped, and we just worked super hard, and we play well together, and we were all just happy to be there, having fun. So we were really excited. I think, obviously, we were disappointed when we didn't win the whole thing, but we really gave it our all, and next year we can come back stronger. So
honestly, 2 more quick questions. Number one, I'm not going to go into the recruiting process and the whole NIL. That's none of my business, nobody's business. But I do want to ask you about this. How stressful was that? Like, it's great to go through it, but how stressful was it? Like, you know, and how much did you lean on your parents through that? Because it's, even though it's great and you ended up in a great place and people be like, oh, what's she bitching about? My thing is, it is stressful for a young person to go through.
Oh, for sure. Well, at first, it wasn't overly stressful. I was super excited the first couple days, but it gets to a point where I'm answering phone calls like all day, scheduling phone calls all day, and it's like I don't have time to do anything. Like, it was taking up a lot of my time, and then having to schedule all the visits was stressful too because like there's certain times when a school can schedule them, and then there's these dead periods, and then schools also want their players to be there when you go. There's so many factors, and obviously deciding is super tough. Like I had a really tough time deciding. So if I didn't have my parents there to help me, it would have been way harder. So that's why I needed to have parents come with me on the visit so that I am seeing everything correctly, getting the right idea, because, you know, I might see it in one way and they might get a different vibe. So thank God I had them there to help me because it was so tough to decide. It was so stressful. But once I committed, I felt like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders and I could just relax. And also, when I got back from all my visits, I couldn't eat for like probably 4 days. I'm not even lying to you because they feed you so much on these visits because, you know, it gets to a point where they run out of things to do. I guess not in San Francisco, but on all my other visits, it got to a point where, you know, they just keep taking for food and I was just eating and eating and eating. And then you don't work out. You might think, oh, did they put you through a workout? No, you're just touring and seeing the city and doing things. So I couldn't eat for days and I got back and I had to start working out again and the whole thing. But it was stressful, but I'm really grateful for it all. So.
Okay. And lastly, WNBA is bigger than ever now. Is that something is that something that you have a goal to do?
Honestly, if I had the chance, of course, I would not turn that down. It's definitely on the come up, and I've been to a Valkyries game here, and so that's like the WNBA team in this area.
Golden State.
And I went to one game, and we're actually going to another game this weekend with my team. We're all going, and the last game I went to was packed. There were like, to put into perspective, the last game I went to was in 2019 in Chicago, the Chicago Sky, and I can't remember who they were playing. But there was no one in the stands. It was dead. My dad could even bring his camera down and go like right on court and take pictures. Like that's how, I don't want to say unserious, but in a way kind of like unserious, and how many fans didn't really care to watch it. And now it's packed and like tickets are expensive and people are cheering and excited to be there. It's just so nice to see. And I'm really excited for women's basketball. So of course, if I had the chance, who would turn that down, you know?
No. I just wondered if it was a goal because there, you know, maybe 10 years ago, nobody like who's in a position of where you are would even think about that. What do you think of Kate? Like, do you think it's because of Caitlin Clark or what do you think it is?
I think Caitlin definitely started a lot of it because she gained so many fans with how good she was in college. And then I think because of her too, people are recognizing how good some of the other players are just through watching more games. So I don't know if I would say it's fully Caitlin Clark, but I would say, in my opinion, a lot of it is due to Caitlin Clark because she's an amazing player. And in college, you know, some of these shots she's hitting is crazy and she's so clutch, and she led her team very, very far in the tournament. So it was super fun to watch. Those games were awesome, like them Iowa versus LSU especially, or versus UConn. You know, those games are always fun to watch. So yeah.
So lastly, what number are you going to be wearing?
Number 7, of course. Got to keep the same number. That was my number at UND.
Okay, and is that a number that's special to you, or just a number they gave you at UND?
Oh, well, I chose it, but fun fact, at UND, the year that I chose to be number 7, they weren't allowed to have numbers 6, 7, 8, 9, or like 16, 17, 18, 19. Any of those numbers weren't allowed in the NCAA because when refs do like the hand signals, like if they do like, let's say like 6, they might think it's 15 or something like that. Yeah. So the first year that I got to UND was the first year that those numbers were allowed. So I was the first ever number 7 there. So of course I wanted to keep it, and I even have like a little chain with number 7. So
nice.
I feel like if I wasn't, I would like, because I had another teammate who wants to be number 7. I would have like played one-on-one for it or something, but she was nice enough. She was nice enough to let me have it. So I'm Like, that's super nice of her, honestly. But
Talk about a college student, because normally it'd be like, here, I'll give you $50,000. You know what I mean? Like NFL guys, $50,000 or CFL. It's like, pay $1,000. Give me the number. That's good. Play one-on-one. Well, I don't think I'd want to play against you. Thanks for your time. I can't wait to watch you in San Francisco. And be safe. Have fun out there. Okay.
yeah, of course. Thank you.